Môj záujem o židovských obyvateľov, ktorí kedysi žili v mojom rodnom meste Šahi, pramení z môjho štúdia na Židovskej univerzite v Budapešti. Nie je to až taká dlhá doba, celkovo iba 5 rokov, ale toto obdobie je veľmi intenzívne a plné udalostí.
Christina's interest in the Jewish residents who once lived in our hometown of Shahi grew out of her studies at the University of Jewish Studies in Budapest. While she began this work just 5 years ago, the time since has been incredibly challenging but deeply rewarding.
Ale kým vám o tom porozprávam, trošku o tom, kde sa vlastne nachádzajú Šahy a čo vieme o histórii Židov, ktorí sa tu usadili. Šahy je pohraničné mesto na slovensko-maďarskej hranici. Nachádza sa 95 km južne od Banskej Bystrice a 80 km severne od Budapešti. Kedysi bol sídlom hontianskej župy. Keďže sa na území Hontu nachádzalo viacero banských miest, trvalé osídľovanie Židov v Šahách začalo až po roku 1840. Židovskú obec a Chevru Kadišu založili v roku 1850.
Where exactly is Shahi located and what do we know about the history of the Jews who settled here? Shahi is located on the Slovak-Hungarian border south of Banská Bystrica and 80 kilometers, some 50 miles north of Budapest. Until 1918, it was part of the Kingdom of Hungary and the county seat of the Hont County. Several mining towns were located in the Hont region. Jews were not permitted to settle in these towns even after 1840, when the restrictions on settlement in urban areas were eased. During these years, the community in Shahi began to develop. The Jewish community and the burial society were founded in 1850.
Prvá synagóga bola postavená v roku 1852. Rabínom bol Šalamún Deutsch, ktorý prišiel do Šiach z Nitry. V roku 1868 bol v Budapešti zvolený židovský kongres cieľom zjednotiť židovstvo v Uhorsku, čo sa však nepodarilo. Uhorské židovstvo sa rozdelilo na 3 smeny, neologické, ortodoxné a na komunitu status quo, ktoré boli medzi týmito dvoma smermi. Šahanská náboženská obec si zvolila líniu status quo, čo však rabín nedokázal prijať a obec opustil. Nastal rozkol v miestnej židovskej komunite. V roku 1876 vznikla popri obci status quo aj ortodoxná náboženská obec.
The town's first synagogue was built in 1852. At the time, it was led by Rabbi Solomon Deutsch, who had moved to Shahi from Nitra. A major turning point came in 1868 when a Jewish Congress took place in Budapest. Its goal was to unify Hungarian Jewry, but the effort ultimately failed. Instead, Jews split into 3 distinct branches: the Neolog, Orthodox, and the middle ground known as status quo ante. Here in Shahi, the local community chose the status quo affiliation. Rabbi Deutsch, however, couldn't accept this new direction and decided to leave. This led to a division within the community, and by 1876, a separate Orthodox congregation had been established alongside the existing status quo community.
Pôvodnú synagógu využívala obec status quo, zatiaľ čo ortodoxní veriaci si zriadili modlitebňu v dome Martina Bercellera, vedúciho ich obce. Vlastnú synagógu si postavili až v roku 1898. Po roku 1918 mesto bolo pripojené k Československej republike. Novozaložený štát bol ústretivý ku každej menšine a podporoval aj stavbu novej ortodoxnej synagógy v Šahách, ktorú postavili v roku 1929. Tu vidíte na obrázku.
While the status quo congregation continued to use the original synagogue, the Orthodox community initially met in a prayer room in the home of their leader, Martin Berzeller. In 1898, they built their first modest synagogue. Conditions improved after 1918, when the town became part of the newly formed Czechoslovak Republic. The new state was generally supportive of its minorities, which made it possible to undertake the construction of a larger Orthodox synagogue. It was completed in 1929, and it's shown here in the picture.
Cintorín ostal spoločný až do roku 1910, potom si ortodoxná obec otvorila vlastný cintorín na opačnej strane mesta.
Even with their religious differences, the two groups continued to share the same cemetery until 1910, so for more than 40 years. At that point, the Orthodox community opened its own burial ground on the opposite side of the town.
V roku 1938 bolo mesto opäť pripojené k Maďarsku. Po vypuknutí druhej svetovej vojny vstupovalo do platnosti čoraz viac protižidovských zákonov, ale z územia Maďarska nedeportovali Židov až do roku 1944. Síce od roku 1942 boli židovskí muži zo Šiat odvádzaní na nútené práce, no v tom čase väčšinou len na pár mesiacov. A iba od roku 1944 ich brali do trvalej služby na front, alebo ich nútili k ťažkej fyzickej práci v rôznych pracovných táboroch.
In 1938, Shahi was annexed or re-annexed by Hungary. With the outbreak of the Second World War, anti-Jewish measures became increasingly severe, although mass deportations did not begin until 6 years later, in 1944. Beginning in 1942, Jewish men from Shahi were drafted into forced labor units. At first, they were usually sent away only for a few months at a time, but in 1944, these assignments became indefinite, either near the front lines or in labor camps.
Tí, ktorí zostali v Šahách, a to boli väčšinou starší ľudia, ženy a deti, boli 4. mája 1944 zatvorení do geta. V šahanskom gete zhromaždili každého Žida z okresu Šahy a Sob. Celkovo 1205 ľudí. Dňa 8. júna ich previezli cez Košice do Auschwitzu.
By May 1944, most of the men were gone, and those who remained were mainly women, children, and the elderly. They were rounded up and forced into a ghetto, 1,200 people in total. The ghetto served as a temporary staging ground. On June 8, 1944, they were loaded onto trains and deported to Auschwitz.
Tí, ktorí zostali v Šahách, z vyhľadzovacieho tábora sa vrátilo len niekoľko mladších žien. Z detí a starších nikto. Tí, ktorí odišli ešte pred zriadením getta, mali šancu sa zachrániť ukrývaním v Budapešti, no každému sa to nepodarilo. Domov sa vrátili väčšinou muži, ktorí prežili pracovné tábory. Pred vojnou žilo v Šahách 836 Židov. Holokaust prežil len 20% židovského obyvateľstva.
Very few returned from the death camps. Only a small number survived, mostly young women. None of the children or the elderly came back. The men who survived had endured the labor camps, and a few individuals managed to hide in Budapest. Before the war, 836 Jews lived in Shahy. After the Holocaust, only about 20% survived.
Navrátilci našli svoje domovy vyrabované a obývané cudzími ľuďmi, pričom väčšinu svojich rodinných príslušníkov čakali domov márne. Povojnové Československo nebolo lojálne k Židom, mnohí Šahania sa radšej usadili v Maďarsku. Po vzniku štátu Izrael takmer 50 ľudí zvolilo Aliju a emigrovalo. Po udalostiach v Československu v roku 1968 mnohí ďalší emigrovali na západ. Dnes už v Šahách nežije nikto, kto by hlásil k židovskému vyznaniu.
Those who returned after the war found their homes looted, more often than not occupied by strangers. Most spent months waiting for relatives who never returned. This led to several waves of immigration. After the founding of the State of Israel, nearly 50 people made Aliyah. Later, after the Soviet invasion of '68, many others left for Western countries. As a result of these waves of immigration, the Jewish community in Shai began to fade. Today, no one in Shai identifies with the Jewish faith.
Počas socializmu sa o šahanských židoch nehovorilo, ale pomenovanie budov sa zachovali, ako napríklad Bollnerov dom, Adlerov dvor, alebo sa pamätám na to, že sme hotel na hlavnom námestí volali Lendel, hoci na jeho fasáde stál nápis Hotel Ipel.
During the communist period, there was little or no public discussion about the Jews of Shahi. Still, the memory survived in the language, especially in the names of the people used for certain buildings. For example, people spoke about the Wollner House or the Adler's Yard. We used to call the local hotel on the main square Lendel, after the former Jewish owner, even though the sign on the facade clearly said Hotel Ipel.
Keď som bola žiačkou základnej školy, sa mi ani nenapadlo, že budova fungujúca ako kultúrny dom bola kedysi synagógou. O sklade obilia som vedela, že je to bývalá synagóga, ale nezamýšľala som nad tým, čo to vlastne znamená. Dnes sa už aj na staré pohľadnice a fotografie pozerám inými očami, keďže sú mementom niekdejšieho židovstva v Šahách.
When Christina was in elementary school, it never even crossed her mind that the building used as a community center had once been a synagogue. She knew that the grain warehouse had originally been a synagogue, but never really thought about what that meant. Today, she looks at all postcards and photographs with a new perspective. There are reminders of the Jewish life that once existed in Shai.
Pár príkladov.
Here are a few examples.
Na pohľadnici je spomenutý Hotel Lendel.
This postcard shows the Hotel Lendel.
Vedľa obchod Hermana Herzfelda.
Herman Herzfeld's shop.
A pozadí Wollnerov dom, ktorý bol dlho jediným poschodovým domom na hlavnom námestí.
And the Wollner house in the background, which was the first multi-story building on the main square.
Ešte obchody.
A few stores.
Herz, Lustig, Paskus, Ganz a Brak, Vértes a Sük, Ignác Polgár mal tlačiareň aj papierníctvo.
Ignác Polgár operated a printing press and a stationery shop.
A Martin Berzeller mal poisťovaciu agentúru.
Martin Berzeller ran an insurance agency.
Rok 1989 priniesol obrad. Čoraz viac niekdejších šahanských židov sa vracalo do Šiach, aspoň na návštevu. O nedôstojnej minulosti sa opäť mohlo hovoriť. V roku 1995 bol na stene Hontianského múzea odhalený pamätný múr keramičky Adriany Kutakovej, ktorého modernejšiu verziu nájdeme na zrekonštruovanej status quo synagóge, ktorá dnes slúži ako priestor pre kultúrne podujatie. Synagógu obnovil z vlastných zdrojov Peter Hunčík v roku 2001. Na pamätnej stene je viac ako 600 mien. Zoznam obetí zozbierala komunita bývalých šahanských židov, ktorí odišli do Izraela.
The year 1989 brought a long-awaited turning point. The wall of silence around the past finally broke, and the former Jewish residents of Shai began returning to visit their hometown. To honor those who perished, local artist Adri Kutak created two significant memorials. One was unveiled at the Hont Museum in 1905, where Christina works. The other located on the wall of the status quo synagogue, which has been beautifully renovated and serves as a venue for cultural events. Dr. Peter Hunčík, a physician and public intellectual, privately funded much of the work and has been the driving force behind the restoration since 2001. The memorial wall on the side of the synagogue bears more than 600 names and was contributed by immigrants living in Israel.
Prvé kamene zmiznutých boli usadené v roku 2019 na pamiatku Ferdinanda a Melanie Kulkovcov.
The first stumbling stones, or Stolpersteine, were laid in Shahy in 2019 in memory of the Kulka family.
Ak dovolíte, teraz by som prešla k mojim vlastným aktivitám. Na území bývalého geta predtým nebol žiadny pamätný znak. Cítila som potrebu to napraviť, keďže už čoraz menej ľudí vie, kde sa geto nachádzalo. V januári 2022 som vyhlásila zbierku a na moje veľké prekvapenie sa potrebná suma vyzbierala už do marca. Keďže súčasný majiteľ nedovolil umiestniť tabulu na stenu bývalej ortodoxnej synagógy, osadili sme ju na náprotivý dom, ktorý bol tiež súčasťou geta. Pamätnú tabulu sme odhalili v apríli 2022 na pamätný deň holokaustu v Maďarsku.
We would like to share some initiatives Christina had personally led. For many years, the site of the former ghetto remained unmarked and fewer people remembered where it had been. In January 2022, she launched a fundraising campaign for a memorial and reached the goal within 2 months. Although the synagogue's current owner did not give permission to install the plaque on the building, the neighbors across the street were supportive of the idea and agreed to host it. It was unveiled on Holocaust Remembrance Day in April 2022.
Pod túto tabulu bol umiestnený kameň zmiznutých na pamiatku Ľudovíta Bercellera, ktorý bol predsedom ortodoxnej náboženskej obce. Na slávnostnom odhalení sa zúčastnil rabín Peter Radvanský z Budapešti. Na jeseň 2023 sme osadili kamene zmiznutých tým deťom, ktorých mená sa nezachovali, pretože neboli zapísané do knihy úmrtí.
Just below the plaque, a Stolperstein was placed in memory of Ludovít Berceller, the chairman of the Orthodox community. Rabbi Radvansky from Budapest participated in the ceremony. Since then, Christina has continued her efforts to bring more stumbling stones to our streets. In 2023, a stone was dedicated to children murdered in the Holocaust, whose names were lost to history because they were never recorded in the official death registers.
V roku 2024 sme si pripomenuli 80. výročie holokaustu a pri tejto príležitosti sme osadili 5 kamenov zmiznutých pred domom rodiny Reinhardtovcov. Na slávnostnom odhalení sa zúčastnil rabín Míša Kapustín z Bratislavy. V apríli 2026 bude odhalený kameň s menom ortodoxného rabína Filipa Vejsa, ktorý podľa spomienok v Auschwitzi poslednými silami udržiaval nádej šahanských veriacich. Finančné prostriedky som po každom zabezpečila zo zbierky alebo s pomocou sponzorov.
In 2024, to mark the 80th anniversary of the Holocaust, 5 stumbling stones outside the former home of the Reinhardt family were installed, with Rabbi Míša Kapustin from Bratislava participating in the ceremony. This coming April, we will unveil a new stone for the Orthodox Rabbi Philip Weiss. He is a significant figure in our local history. Survivors recalled how he used his final ounce of strength in Auschwitz to sustain the hope of his fellow believers from Shahy. And none of this would be possible without Christina's dedication. Once again, she managed to secure funding for these projects through her tireless fundraising.
V oboch židovských cintorínoch v Šahách som spracovala umiestnenie hrobov, nakreslila som mapu a identifikovala som pochovaných. Oba cintoríny sa pravidelne kosia, ale v cintoríne status quo boli náhrobky narastené brečtanom, preto sme ich s priateľkou začali čistiť.
Christina's work has also extended into both of the town's Jewish cemeteries. She's mapped out the graves, cataloged the burial sites, and identified those laid to rest there. In the status quo cemetery, years of ivy and overgrowth had completely swallowed some of the headstones. Together with a friend, she began the painstaking work of clearing them.
Malá ukážka pred a po.
Here are a few before and after photos.
Po roku sme si museli priznať, že vo dvojici to nezvládneme. Preto som začala zorganizovať brigády.
A two-person effort soon grew into a community project with volunteer workdays.
Vďaka tejto práci sme v hustom poraste našli už zabudnutú kohenskú bránu. Takto vyzerala znútra.
That's how she rediscovered the long-forgotten Kohanim Gate, buried under dense overgrowth.
A takto zvonka.
This is how it looked from the outside.
Zhruba to bolo vyčistené, keď sme zbadali schody.
Then they discovered the steps.
Odstránenie koreňmi prerasteného nánosu zeminy bolo časovo náročné, trvalo mi to mesiace, kým som vyčistila schody, ale napokon sa to podarilo.
The process took months of digging through the roots and soil as she uncovered the original stone steps.
Zohnala som aj šahanského podnikateľa, ktorý zrekonštruoval obe krídlá brány a čo som nečakala, úplne zadarmo. Jemu vďačím aj za to, že si všimol kresbu Dávidovej hviezdy a podľa toho vykoná renováciu.
A local businessman volunteered to reconstruct both sides of the gate entirely free of charge. He even noticed the original Star of David design and faithfully restored it.
Posledná fotka pred a po.
It was a before and after.
Bránu slávnosti posvetil budapešťanský rabín Peter Radvanský.
Finally, the gate was reinstalled and blessed by Rabbi Peter Radvansky.
Výsledky môjho výskumu v ortodoxnom cintoríne sa mi podarilo vydať v podobe knihy. Na náklady som získala predplatiteľov a našli sa aj ďalší, ktorí vznik knihy finančne podporili. Bohužiaľ vyšla len v maďarskom jazyku, pretože na slovenský preklad už nezostali peniaze. Momentálne skúmam cintorín status quo a rovnakým spôsobom by som ho chcela vydať v knižnej podobe.
Christina's research on the Orthodox cemetery has already been published in book form. She funded the project through pre-orders and private donations. Although it is currently available only in Hungarian because of translation costs, she is already working on a second volume covering the status quo cemetery.
Dúfam, že svojou prácou som prispela k zachovaniu pamiatky nespravodlivo zabudnutých šahanských Židov a že vďaka mojim knihám o nich bude mať vedomosti aj budúca generácia.
As a final thought, she hopes that through this work she has helped preserve the memory of the long-forgotten Jews of Shahi, and that these books will help ensure future generations know who they were. So thank you again for having us. We covered a lot today. If anyone would like to discuss these topics in more depth, please feel free to reach out. I'm sure Eva Derman can put us in touch.
Ďakujeme za pozornosť.